Let's get more on this story now with Deutsche Welle correspondent Arthur Sullivan in Berlin. Arthur, welcome. So why has this case been of such significance in France and across Europe?
Well, I think your report laid it out quite well there. I mean, this case has had an utterly transformative effect on perceptions around rape, on sexual assault, on victims, on perpetrators, on the whole gamut of issues that arise in these types of cases. So, you know, as your viewers have been told there, and they will already know, the details here are truly shocking. Gisèle Pelicot, now sentenced to the maximum 20 years, having drugged his wife completely without her consent or knowledge, and then recruited dozens of men online to rape her while she was unconscious. So the reason it has really captured, I guess, the public imagination and inspired so many people is through the extraordinary figure of Gisèle Pelicot, the victim. She's become a feminist icon through her conduct and the way she has dealt with this case. The fact that she insisted that the entire trial take place in public, going against what is often recommended in France, where rape cases often take place anonymously and behind closed doors. She wanted everything to be as open as possible in order for the perpetrators to be named, for their actions to be fully revealed. And as a result of that decision, and indeed that battle which she had to undertake, a huge national discussion and examination has been taking place, not just in France, but indeed around the world. I mean, she had to fight legally just to allow this trial to be in public, and many did not want it to be public. And with the details of the case known, it has really upended perceptions. As I said, it has shown that there is no typical rapist. There's been dozens of convicted rapists who worked in a range of professions. Many of them had ostensibly happy family lives. They ranged in age from young to old. And the ringleader was a man whom Gisèle Pelicot trusted absolutely, her husband of many, many decades, who she believed she had quite a happy marriage with. And perhaps most shockingly, the dozens of perpetrators all came from within a relatively short distance from where they lived, again illustrating the pervasiveness of rape and sexual assault throughout society. And then finally, Gisèle Pelicot, the victim, emphasised throughout the trial that she wanted to transfer the often misplaced shame which victims sometimes feel to those who absolutely deserve it, the perpetrators. And she has done that here, and as a result has inspired victims of rape and sexual assault all around the world.
And what will be the legacy of this case?
Well, the case has led to major soul-searching in France and beyond, and particularly when it comes to laws around rape and sexual assault, with the absolutely critical concept and word being consent. So French criminal law defines rape as a penetrative act or oral sex committed on someone using, quote, violence, coercion, threat or surprise. So it makes no clear mention of the need for a partner's consent, and prosecutors must prove the intention to rape to secure a guilty verdict, which means that in situations which often happens where a victim freezes or feels powerless or is of course under threat of violence, then it's much harder to secure a conviction if there is no clear requirement to prove the need for consent. And France has been quite reluctant over the years to move away from this definition. Now, this case has led to an examination of that, with critics of the law saying that the current situation places far too much scrutiny on the victim's behaviour and words rather than the accused. And I think the big legacy here is that there are moves underway by a group in the French Parliament to work on a bill which would redefine the legal definition of rape, with the focus being on placing consent at the centre of any new potential law. And indeed that conversation is underway in the many other countries in Europe and perhaps in some other parts of the world where this same issue exists.
Okay, Arthur Sullivan there in Berlin.